You have been told 1,000 times by well-meaning friends, just walk more to stay healthy. And they fee. But for many of us over 60, walking isn't medicine. Every step feels like a hammer hitting a nail right into your knee joint. If walking leaves you limping or reaching for painkillers, forcing yourself to do it isn't therapy. It is torture. This is what I call the walking trap. You need to move to grease your joints, but the gravity of walking is grinding them down. But what if I told you there is a safer, smarter way to rebuild your strength without the impact? We can use the wall to take gravity out of the equation. We can strengthen the shield around your knee without grinding the bone inside it. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need to get down on the floor. You just need 5 minutes and a sturdy wall. Today I am going to walk you through a specific 5-minute routine designed to save your hips and knees. Think of your aging cartilage like a dry sponge. If you pound it, it crumbles. But if we gently squeeze and release it, it soaks up hydration. That is exactly what we are going to do today. Imagine standing up from your chair without that sharp pinch. Imagine trusting your legs again. And please stay with me until the very end, because exercise number 5 is a balance secret used by top physical therapists. Find a clear spot on your wall. Let's unlock those rusty joints right now. To understand why your knees hurt, we have to look at the engineering. Think of your cartilage like this dry sponge. When you are young, your cartilage is wet, slippery, and absorbs shock. But as we age, the blood flow decreases and it dries out. Here is the medical reality most people don't know. Cartilage has no direct blood supply. It cannot eat like your muscles do. It works like a suction cup. The only way it gets nutrients is through compression and release, squeeze, and soak. We call this the sponge effect. You need movement to pump fresh oil called synovial fluid into the joint. But here is the problem with walking. Walking is high impact. It is a hammer strike. For a damaged knee, walking grinds the dry sponge before it has a chance to soak up the water. That causes inflammation. This is why we use the wall. The wall supports your weight, taking the hammer strike out of the equation. By holding a position against the wall, we are strengthening the muscles, the pump, without grinding the gears. Doctors call this isometric loading. It is the safest way to lubricate a rusty joint. So let's throw away the hammer and pick up the oil can. We start with the hips. We begin with Protocol 1, the foundation. I call this unlocking the rusty gate. Most senior knee pain is actually a hip problem in disguise. When your hips are stiff, like a rusty hinge, your knees are forced to do all the work. To fix this, we don't treat the knee, we oil the hip. We are going to perform the wall hinge. Stand with your back to the wall. Take one small step forward, about 6 inches. Keep your feet shoulder-width apart. Now, soften your knees. That means unlock them, but do not bend them into a squat. Just loose and ready. Imagine your hamstrings, the muscles on the back of your legs, are the steel cables of a suspension bridge. We need to tighten those cables to support the bridge. Slowly push your hips backward until your bottom taps the wall behind you. Think of closing a car door with your rear end. Stop, be careful here. This is not a squat. If your knees shoot forward over your toes, you are hurting yourself. Your knees should stay frozen in space over your ankles. The only thing moving is your hips reaching back for the wall. When you do this right, you shift the weight of your body off the delicate knee joint and onto the powerful glute muscles. Tap the wall, hold for 2 seconds, and squeeze your glutes to stand back up tall. You should feel a gentle stretch in the back of your thighs. That is the rust breaking off the hinge. Perform 10 repetitions, nice and slow. Grease the groove. By the 10th rep, your hips will feel warm and loose. That means the bridge is now supporting the weight. Now that the hips are taking the load, we can safely strengthen the knee itself. Protocol number 2 is about building a shield. We have unlocked the hips. Now we must build the armor around the knee itself. Protocol 2 is called the wall shield. It's Charles. Your thigh muscles are your body's natural shock absorbers. When they are weak, every step you take slams directly into your bone and cartilage. We are going to wake them up without moving the joint. Lean your back flat against the wall and walk your feet out about 1 step. This is critical. Make sure your feet are far enough forward so that when you slide down, your knees stay directly over your ankles, not your toes. Now, gently slide down the wall. Do not go deep. Imagine you are perching on a high bar stool. Just a few inches is enough. Hold it there. This is called an isometric hold. You are strengthening the shield, but because you aren't moving, there is zero grinding inside the joint. You might feel a little shaking in your legs. That is excellent. That shaking is your muscles waking up from hibernation. Hold this position for 15 to 20 seconds. Keep your breathing steady. Do not hold your breath. Then push through your heels and slide back up to standing. Rest for a moment. By doing this daily, you are building an invisible brace that you wear everywhere. This brace pulls the bones apart slightly, giving you relief. Perform 3 rounds of this high wall sit. It is safer than a squat and more effective than walking for building raw strength. As you get stronger over the weeks, you can slide down a little lower, but never go into pain. Now we have mobility and we have strength, but neither of those matter if you fall over. Protocol number 3 is the root system. This is how we ensure you stay on your feet for life. We have oiled the hinge and we have built the shield. Now we must plant the roots. Balance is a use it or lose it skill. And tragically, most seniors lose it simply because they stop challenging it. When you lose balance, you lose confidence. You stop looking at the world and start looking at your feet. We are going to fix that using the wall as our training wheels. Stand sideways to the wall with your inside hand touching it lightly. Shift your weight onto your outside leg. Now slowly lift your inside foot just an inch off the floor. I want you to visualize your standing leg as a tree trunk. Imagine roots growing out of your foot, gripping the floor. Keep a soft knee. Do not lock your joints straight. A bent knee allows your muscles to make thousands of tiny micro-adjustments. Feel that burning on the side of your hip. That is your glute medius. That is your primary anti-fall muscle. Now for the brave part. Try to hover your hand off the wall. Just for a second. Let your body wobble. Do not be afraid of the wobble. The wobble is the cure. That is your brain frantically rewiring its connection to your foot. The wall is your safety net. It is always there to catch you. Aim for 30 seconds on each leg. The best part? You don't need extra time for this. We call this habit stacking. Do this every morning and night while you brush your teeth. You are at the sink anyway. Use that time to bulletproof your balance. Every morning you are sending a clear signal to your brain. We are stable, we are strong, we are rooted. And when you step away from the wall, you won't be looking down at your feet anymore. You will be looking at the world. You now have the complete blueprint. You have the hinge for your hips, you have the shield for your knees, and you have the roots for your balance. Remember, I am not telling you to stop walking forever. Walking is beautiful, it is good for the soul. But you must earn the right to walk. You must build the strength to support your weight so that walking becomes medicine, not poison. Give me 30 days. Commit to these 5 minutes every single morning while your coffee brews. At first, the wall will feel like a crutch, but very quickly you will realize the wall is not a crutch. It is a launch pad. It is the tool that gives you your life back. Imagine the feeling of crouching down to hug your grandchild and knowing with absolute certainty that you can stand back up. That is not just exercise. That is freedom. That is the dignity of independence. If this routine gave you hope today, please hit that like button. It helps us reach more seniors who are living in unnecessary pain. And please subscribe to the channel. We are building a library of longevity here, and I don't want you to miss the next lesson. Now, if your knees are feeling better but your lower back is still stiff, you need to watch this video next. It shows you the simple seated decompression method to relieve back pain in minutes. Stay strong, stay steady, and I will see you at the wall.